goes, then up through the box, all the way into 6th gear, down the Wellington Straight, into Brooklands for the final time. Can Remy Gardner win his 4th race of the season, his 5th race ever in Moto2? Can he emulate his father Wayne and go on and take victory in the underway in the British Grand Prix in Moto2? And it's a good start from pole position from Marco Bezzecchi. A bit of a wheelie from Sam Lowes, but it's not a big run down to the line, and he gets the inside line. Jorge Navarro, look at him, and look out for Remy Gardner also coming through there, heading down towards Baggett for the first time, and Lowes has picked up a position. He's picked up 2nd place from Navarro, so it's Bezzecchi leading from Sam Lowes in 2nd place. Sam's gone round the outside of Bezzecchi, and Lowes takes charge of the British Grand Prix in the opening few corners, and he did it with a stunning move into the Hanger Straight. Lowes leads now from Bezzecchi, Navarro is 2nd, and Gardner attacking him for 3rd.
Neil told us, Sam said he wasn't going to leave anything out there in the British GP. Lap 1, he means business.
Into Stowe though, Bezzecchi fights straight back. Will he run it a little bit wide? He's going to, and Lowes is going to get the line again. Through Stowe, down the little dip they drop towards the Vale chicane. Again, Bezzecchi thinks about the inside, but Lowes this time has him covered. It didn't work out for him in warm-up through there, but this time he's safely through. The championship leader, Remy Gardner, has a couple of moments through the chicane. His rear end is squirming around Club Corner, and he's lost 4th place now to his teammate Raul Fernandez, ahead of Fabio Di Gianantonio. So into Abbey, and it is Sam Lowes leading from Bezzecchi under pressure from Jorge Navarro now.
Watching Digi there, he done well not to collect Remy Gardner into the club chicane, but Digi now attacking Remy again. So Digi's feeling good here on lap 1, but the two Akio KTMs, they're stuck here together, but they're in touch with the lead 3.
Yeah, it hasn't gone all the way. We talked about how much they dominated on that run of races between Le Mans and over to Assen, 1 and 2s all the way through for them. But on this occasion, they're battling for 4th place. Gardner right in the slipstream of his teammate, Raul Fernandez. Is he going to attack on the inside? No, not this time. He takes a tight line, but it's really more than anything holding up Fabio Di Gianantonio. So around they come, Luffield Corner in front of the huge grandstands here at the British Grand Prix, and just listen to the crowd roar as Sam Lowes crosses the line in 1st place at the end of the 1st lap. Still 17 to go, but Lowes exactly where he would want to be.
That's how he planned to start it. He's done well to keep Bezzecchi at bay. Bearing in mind that Bezzecchi's got that soft rear tyre, so it will provide that extra grip in these early laps.
And Remy Gardner's come through at Cox Corner on Raul Fernandez. So Gardner, who also has shown pace this weekend, he's up into 4th place in behind Jorge Navarro as it starts to, I was going to say, settle down a little bit as Fabio Di Gianantonio looked on the inside of Raul Fernandez, around into Chapel Corner and onto the Hanger Straights.
Yeah, sometimes we see it difficult for the guys to get the tyres up to temperature straight away. On a cool track here today, it looks like the top 7, top 8, they're all in touch. Aaron Cannett's back there in 8th, but he's got the speed.
Here comes Gardner into Stoke Corner, and Di Gianantonio onto Fernandez. So Gardner to 3rd, Digi to 5th place. He runs it off track though. Di Gianantonio, he's taken onto the outside of the track in the green. A couple more of them and he'll be getting a warning from race direction. They may even give him one for that, because in the process of making the move, he ran it outside track limit, so he may be told to drop a position, but he has got through on the track in front of Raul Fernandez and into 5th.
Yeah, perhaps he will get that lose 1 position signal on his dashboard, but yeah, if not, it will be 1 mark towards that 5 they're allowed before they get the long lap penalty.
In the early stage of the race, you just saw the rear stepping out there on Remy Gardner through Farm Corner. We've seen so many people go down there this weekend, but the rear sliding and leaving a big black line on the track from the Australian, even on these early laps in this 18-lap Moto2 race.
Yeah, Remy's not scared of rear wheel steering it, so he does like to put the throttle down, really steer that bike to the rear, as Bezzecchi sets up the move on Sam.
Bezzecchi into Brooklands, he was lining that one all the way up from the loop. Sam tried to do the cutback on him, but Bezzecchi did well, got his bike stuck right in the middle of the track and no way back from Sam Lowes. But this is what Bezzecchi needs to do at this stage of the race. Sam needs to get him working that rear tyre as much as he can so that he has the edge in the latter stages. He'd love to be in front of him, but if he's in behind him, Lowes just has to try and stick with the Italian.
Yeah, that move was set up running through the entry there. It's a 3rd gear corner, and whenever you've got that extra grip, you can build that momentum onto the straight. A little bit of draft, and then he pulled rolled out. Nice clean move down into Brooklyn. So Bezzecchi trying to make hay while the sun shines here, make use of that soft tyre while he's got the extra grip over his rivals.
Remy Gardner is the fastest rider on circuit at the moment at 2:04.7 from him. I don't think Lowe's will hit the panic button just yet with the two fast riders around him. Lowe's built into a race and has shown over recent weeks, in fact throughout the whole season, late on he has decent pace. Bezzecchi has been known to fade, even though that used to be one of his strong suits. Jorge Navarro there in fourth spot, whereas Bezzecchi's gone with a soft rear tyre, Navarro's gone with a soft front tyre. He seems to be able to make that work on board that speed up, but maybe that will tell its own tale in the latter stages of this one.
Yeah, it seems to be that's made a breakthrough for him. He really struggled with confidence in the front end of that machine all season. He really couldn't find a setting that worked for him. Dunlop brought that new option rear tyre, the softest front Moto2 tyre they've used this year, and all of a sudden Navarro's been on the pace right from free practice one.
So front seven breaking away slightly, the usual suspects I would say in Moto2, perhaps Navarro, and of course Digi's a race winner this year and will move up to MotoGP next year, but some familiar names. The other five are the ones that we would expect to be around there, including the winner last time we came here to Silverstone for the British Grand Prix back in 2019, Augusto Fernandez, Sam Lowe's teammate, rounding out that front seven.
Yeah, it's a fast group actually. It's a brand new best race lap for Moto2 from Remy Gardner, a 2:04.7. We did see a 2:39 in qualifying, so there's a little bit left out there, but a low 2:04 in race conditions would be superbly fast. Bezzecchi's going deep there.
Really, really deep, cuts back across. Just, it's not really a swooping line though, that one. That was one where he just gone a little bit further than he'd like on his braking marker. On board with Remy Gardner. Fifth gear as they come through Woodcut corner and powering it down the home straight. He's strong through here. Gardner lets the rear step out on him, but when he finds grip he can fire it down that home straight. Third lap completed, Gardner in third. He'll be happy with this one because in terms of his title rivals, Bezzecchi's out there in front, but in the championship itself he's 47 points down on the Aussie.
Sam fast through Brooklyn's, or through Maggots into Beckett's there, but listening to that 765 sing through Woodcut there, you could hear Remy never rolled out of the throttle, 100% commitment, a bit of rear spin through there, helps him steer the bike, and that medium rear tyre, it will take that abuse, so that's where Bezzecchi has to be a little bit more gentle, so you can see Sam and Remy being a little bit more aggressive, a bit more wheel spin.
It's going to be intriguing to see how it pans out. Lorenzo Baldassari's come back in, problem for the MV Agusta. He's also still nursing a few injuries, Balda, but it's not quite working this year for Ian Balda. Once a MotoGP prospect, now his career is looking on the wane a little bit. Not what we like to see at all, because there's bagfuls of talent in Balda.
This has turned into pretty much a 7-bike group. I thought Aaron Canuck could hang with him today. He did set the fastest lap throughout free practice with a 2:04.1, but on the race conditions here, it's not quite working for him. He's dropped away from that group and he's battling with Xavi Vierge.
Different approaches through farm and up towards village, and you can see it's going to cost Sam Lowe's on this occasion. Run it a little bit deep and it compromises entry into the village corner and into the loop. Remy Gardner is able to take over from Sam Lowe's in second place. So Lowe's drops one place further back, but again, as I would say, Lowe's has just set a personal best lap in this race and he will build into it, but you don't want to lose touch. You don't want Navarro and Di Gianantonio coming past you. That's what happened in Austria and a couple of other races. You just lose touch slightly and you do with your chances of victory at the same time.
Yeah, as long as Sam marks Remy, I think he'd be safe, because we've seen in early races this season where Bezzecchi, he always does fade when grip drops off. Apart from in Austria where he took the victory, it's been typical for Marco Bezzecchi to struggle in the later laps.
Well, even in Austria actually though, he did drop in the middle part of the race. He really did drop back. He was attacked a couple of times, didn't he, by Remy Gardner. It was Gardner's mistake really that allowed him to open the door again for him. But he did take that opportunity, and Bezzecchi, as we know, is a hugely talented rider. He's a cool customer too, Marco, and he's leading this one with aplomb. Sixth and seventh dropping off slightly, the two Fernandez, Raul from Augusto. Just losing a bit of touch on Digi.
Yeah, just struggling to hang on there, which is unusual. Raul Fernandez has been one of the fastest guys throughout the season. Normally, he can find the pace, he always digs in the race, and he gets quite aggressive, but not quite working for him in these cooler conditions. He's only lapping in the mid-5s at the moment, so 2:05.6 last time around.
I am liking the look of Remy Gardner in these early stages. I have to say, the way he drove away from Sam Lowe's heading down the Hanger Straight on that occasion, really keeping tabs on Bezzecchi. And I think Remy, knowing Remy will probably want to go past, but I think sitting here for a few laps wouldn't do you any harm whatsoever, would it?
Yeah, exactly. Well, Remy let his championship lead kind of dissipate ever so slightly in Austria, so it's down to 19 points heading into this race today. And knowing that Ron Fernandez is behind him, Remy's going straight to the front.
He is aggressive, Remy Gardner, and he's going to take over at the front in this race. Maybe Bezzecchi can do the cutback on him, but I think Gardner has got it just about right coming through there. So Bezzecchi lining up in behind him, but go too early. Is your tyre going to last the distance? Who's going to judge this one? You really have to be careful on how you run it. And Bezzecchi is going to fight back. This is going to help the rest of the field.
Get close.
Oh, it got tight in there, didn't it? Bezzecchi just rolled out of it at the end into Brooklands.
Yeah, Remy just leaned on in there. He knew he had enough of a bike in front that perhaps Bezzecchi would back out of it, and he managed to do that. So it's because it's a long entry there, you can actually get hold of the rear brake pretty good with the right foot, and Bezzecchi was able to slow that deceleration down right to the apex.
Definitely managing tyres at the moment, because 205 there from Remy Gardner, a 5.4 from Bezzecchi, a 5.3 from Sam Lowe's, as it was from Navarro behind. Right down to Vierge's also in the 5.3. You do feel like they should have more. Now they can drop down into the 204s, but if you go there too early, too quickly, when it gets to lap 17 and 18, you're going to be riding around on fibres.
Exactly. You can't push these tyres at 100% commitment every lap for 18 laps. You will fall foul in the latter laps. So, yeah, you have to manage it. We did hear consumption was an issue, especially for the soft rear tyre. And Gary Purdy told us this morning during warm-up, he felt that the harder option would be the best race.
Here comes Bezzecchi again. So the Italian has fought back on Remy Gardner through Stoke Corner. All the while, Sam Lowe's trying to muscle his Mark BDS bike. Bezzecchi into Vale. A lovely move from him at Stoke Corner. It's one of the classic Silverstone manoeuvres. Sometimes there's a chance that you might run it that little bit too deep in there and the other rider can come back at you on the inside, but not on this occasion. Just placed his bike perfectly in there.
Yeah, Marco fighting back straight away. He's looking good. Actually, have a quick look at the rear tyres and you can see a little bit of marking on the left side of Remy Gardner's as he rear wheel steers around Farm Bend.
Maybe he feels it's something he can manage later on. Oh, he got tight into Village on that occasion. But you are going to manage. Oh, that got close in there. Bezzecchi had a moment in the middle of the corner. I wonder if that was just a little issue from him in terms of changing gears.
Yeah, it looked like he just tapped on the tyre and lost the rear tyre, and Remy done well not to make contact with his rear exhaust. He was so close to his back wheel.
I think we've lost Hector Garso perhaps. There's a yellow flag in the third sector. Not quite sure what happened. Let's have a look elsewhere. This is Marco Bezzecchi's moment here. Oof.
It was going away from him there. I think the front might have started to get away from him right at the apex. Late to pick up the throttle and Remy tapping onto it, almost run into the back of him, so done well not to make contact. But yeah, I think there was a bit of chatter actually right at the apex. You can see through the camera.
So, Marco Bezzecchi reclaimed the lead. He's given it up again. And Sam Lowe's, who I thought actually was just starting to drop a little on the lead duo, actually, as it stands, with everything going on in front of him, still sat there comfortably within half a second.
Yeah, this group of 5 riders, they're all within reach. And I thought Navarro might be stronger in the early laps, but we know that the speed up the Boscos Giro chassis pretty good in terms of race distance on that rear tyre.
Yeah, he has just lost his 4th place on that last lap to Di Gian Antonio, but I think we've said, even though we've still got 11.5 laps remaining, nothing to worry about just yet for the Spaniard. There's Marco Bezzecchi all over the back of Remy Gardner heading towards the Vale chicane. The left-right flip-flop. Got to get good acceleration out here, and then you've got to use all that. You don't want to mess it up, because then you lose it through club and you lose it all the way down the Hamilton straight.
You can see in the top of your shot, Xavi Vierge working hard to get across to the 2 Fernandez. Both Augusto and Raul are there, and actually Joe Roberts just joined the party as well. So Joe's in behind Darren Cannon, so that looks like it's going to concertina into a big group, that battle for 6th and downwards. Yeah, isn't it interesting? We often say sometimes it can gap things a little bit in Moto2, but today this is the one that's going to give us close racing as Augusto Fernandez comes through on Raul. Raul did look like he might have been holding up Augusto.
but you can guarantee the young rookie will fight back. But it just doesn't look like he's been quite on the money this weekend.
No, it's missing a little bit of something for Ralph Fernandez, which hasn't happened often this season. He's always able to deliver, but yeah, it happened Austria 1. He turned it around with a victory, Austria 2, and here at Silverstone it's been a little bit of a struggle for him.
And that little change in the Fernandez show has meant that Xavi Vierge's had the door open to him and he's closed in again. So he's right on the back of them, bringing Canet, Roberts and Agura into the fight. Again, Marco Bezzecchi has a look on the inside of Remy Gardner as they head through Cops Corner. Still 11 laps remaining in this race. And still, we are no closer to knowing as they hit the limiter on the tip through and into Magat. Still no closer to knowing who's going to run out victorious. I wouldn't like to predict it at this stage. No,
Remy's well positioned and we know that he's aggressive and he typically likes to sit behind it whenever it's a group battle and then kind of plot how he's going to approach the end of the race, but he's happy to lead from the front.
With things having settled a little bit, as in no one making too big a move at the front, lap times dropped quite a bit on that one, about 3 or 4 tenths of a second. It was a 2:05.0 from Bezzecchi, lows at 2:05.2, and just eking up the pace that little bit now. We're getting towards the halfway stage in this one, and it is a little bit about management. Further back, Aaron Canet's done at 2:05 dead. You know, there is a chance that some of these riders a little bit further back are going to start pushing the pace on.
You can see actually Augusto for final podium spot. It just looks like Navarro's got enough breathing room between he and Sam Lowe's. It won't give Sam an opportunity here on the last lap. It would require a bit of a mistake from Navarro to get Sam back on the box at home.
We talked about this being a significant British Grand Prix as regards the title in MotoGP. Could this be where Remy Gardner takes a huge leap forward towards the title in Moto2? Marco Bezzecchi's doing everything to try and hope that that isn't the case, because he's just set a new best lap of the race. Then he was beaten by Jorge Navarro, but he was a tenth quicker than Gardner on that penultimate lap. It's the last go around through Maggots and Beckett, then up towards Chapel, around the right hand and then into the left of Chapel and onto the hanger straight for the final time. Bezzecchi's looked strong down to straw on every lap. Has he got something in store on this occasion?
I don't think he's close enough. He was just a little bit too far back through sector 1. Usually he'd be already on the back wheel, so this overtaking into here isn't possible. Maybe into the Vale chicane. We did see him try it earlier with a good acceleration out of Stowe, but I don't know if he's close enough.
I don't think he's close enough on this occasion, Michael, as Gardner has it covered. Where can he conjure up a move? We know this is a sector now where Gardner will let it all hang out, hang loose. The Surf Kid from New South Wales, Remy Gardner through Club Corner now. Down the international pit straight, he's so strong through here, he's not going to give Bezzecchi a chance, surely, on this last lap.
You can see a wiggle from Bezzecchi, he was trying to wind on the throttle a little bit too early, a bit of a spin up and pump and move as Remy rear wheel steers it round farm for one last time.
So does Bezzecchi, pushing so hard, doing everything he can, but Gardner appears to have it covered. We come into the final sector of this race now, through the loop, into the little entry corner, up a gear he goes, then up through the box, all the way into 6th gear, down the Wellington straight, into Brooklands for the final time. Can Remy Gardner win his 4th race of the season, his 5th race ever in Moto2? Can he emulate his father Wayne and go on and take victory in this race? Will he go on and become world champion? The way he has performed today suggests that he is on his way to take his maiden victory in this championship. He comes around Woodcote for the final time. Remy Gardner wins the British Grand Prix from Marco Bezzecchi in 2nd place. Jorge Navarro takes 3rd. Sam Lowe's a great 4th place for him. Fabio Di Gianantonio has taken 5th back from Augusto Fernandez right at the death. But delight at one side of the IO garage, despair in the other for Ralph Fernandez. Remy Gardner has won the British Grand Prix, and in doing so, he's extended his championship lead to 44 points.